it boils down to communication and relationship building. Like the agencies that are out there that are doing really well have really strong communicators. They've cultivated great relationships. They've got friends all over the country, and they're able to do that. I think it's really important if we flip it to recruiters. I think it's really important to try both. It's you shouldn't really formulate an opinion. At least you shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't formulate a strong opinion on something if you haven't been in the arena yourself. I That was the advice I got from my mentors when I first started. It's like, hey, dabble in staffing a little bit, go dabble in internal. You're gonna get the good, the bad, and the ugly in both arenas. There's things about internal that I love, and there's things that frustrate me. Some companies have great process, have best practice. Some companies are really slow. Some agencies are really well tuned, oiled, and like Vincent was kind of alluding to, they partnership with their clients. And then there's greasy corner cutting agencies out there. So there's the good, the bad, and the ugly for both. I've also done, kind of in that middle ground of agency and internal, which is RPO model, right? So I've been with some consulting firms in my career with where I've kind of been an embedded agency recruiter, but more of like an RPO model, and where you're just with that one company and you feel internal, you have more access than maybe than an agency recruiter would have. But I think what I'd like to say, just to people that are listening to this that are thinking, okay, do I want to go the route of Vincent and do the agency side of things? Do I want to go the route of Andrew and go internal and one day go into leadership? I think to be able to answer that question at the start of your career, dabble, try a little bit of. You guys can agree, disagree, but dabble a little bit, see what you like, because there are things I loved about agency. I loved learning how to sell. I loved the backbone that it gives you, because you get a ton of rejection, and just the grit and the hustle of. Then I loved learning to be able to handle vendor management, being able to handle multiple vendors, and then internally, kind of what Andrew touched on. What I've loved learning so far is the importance of best practice, being able to consult stakeholders. So I think a nice blend of those skills from both sides of the coin really makes good recruiters. And it kind of ties to the second question we asked you, Vince, about, kind of how do you put yourself above the other recruiters in your craft. I think if you have a nice blend of both worlds, of that fast paced, make it happen, whatever it takes, and then that consultative best practice, and you blend those together, that's what I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, I think real quick, just to jump in and defend my agency people out there real quick. Definitely, I mean, there's a lot of bad agencies out there. There's also a lot of good ones, right? Like, I think, Andrew, to your point, like, it is fast paced. It is those companies that handle it like that, like they're transactional. They don't care about the person after they start. Like, that's where people miss the mark, and kind of, I think like Daryl, you also mentioned, like, you blend that like sense of urgency with like getting to know your client, like what they're looking for long term and things like that, and build those relationships. Like, a lot of our business is like inbound, right? With people that we've placed or like had a good experience with us, like call us back in 6 months. So I think building those relationships and like not just being transactional, being like, all right, here's your candidate, good luck. Like, call us in 6 months if it don't work out. Like, that's not going to get you very far. So I like both the points that you bring. And like, look at this, we're having a conversation, agency recruiter and two internal. We're not
and no one's left the chat,
biting each other's heads off. So
no one's left the chat. No, it's a good.
I think most people don't. Yeah, most people don't realize that we're playing the same game, just in a different arena. That's all it is. It's a different arena. And so I think I did a post about this the other day. We have to learn to work together and work strategically as partners, because, companies are still going to have budget. They're still going to put together budget for outsourced recruitment. And no matter how good your internal team is, that, there's always going to be potential holes or potential areas that you can't fill for a variety of reasons. And so I think internal teams need to learn how to play nice with agency recruiters, and agency recruiters, I think, need to, I think they need to get better at honing in on what it is that the value that they actually provide. And not being so focused on saying, hey, I can do everything, and more so like, here's where we could provide the most value and support your team.